Hey guys, welcome back to another video. And right behind me, which is kind of hard to see because the tripod's all the way up, is my 3-valve Mustang. And the reason why I have the Mustang pulled out today is I want to talk about, is it worth actually buying a 3-valve Mustang since the Coyotes are out and Coyote Mustangs kind of dropped in price. Almost as cheap as a 3-valve, but not quite, if you catch my drift right there. So yeah, we're just going to go through the 3-valve Mustang. I'll show you some of its weird stuff, some things I like, some things I dislike, and we'll talk about if you should spend the money and get one. So I wanted to start off with some positives of the Mustang, and the first thing is the way it sounds. This thing sounds better than a Coyote in my opinion. It's less raspier. It resembles more of the old school muscle car days. And that's what I love about it. So let me give you guys an example in what it sounds like. See, it sounds amazing, and all that's been done to this exhaust is the Flowmaster Attack, I think is what it's called. Or it was some Flowmaster exhaust. I'll find it here and I'll show you a picture. But it just makes it sound so perfect. It pops, it crackles. It has a deep throaty sound, especially for a smaller V8. Since this is only a 4.6 liter V8. But it just sounds great. Another thing that I think is good about the 3-valve is look how good it looks. You gotta admit, Ford knocked it out of the park on the looks on this with integrating the new and old. It looks good. That's all I really have to say. It looks good, especially when it's lowered on better wheels. Right now it's on 2010 or 2011 wheels, so not really aftermarket. But just a few simple things can make this thing look like a show car. Now, do you guys want to see something rare? Here, let me spin the camera over and look at that. Factory door skins. This black part right here, they love to fall off. And I re-glued them right now. They're sticking pretty good, but who knows how long they're going to last. But yeah, those things like to fall off, which is a very negative con on the interior. And really, this thing, most of its cons are in the interior, since it's not the highest quality with the hard plastic. But it holds up to abuse. It doesn't look half bad, and it's actually a comfy car. You got full-on leather seats, which are amazing. Mine was the grandma spec car, so you got the blue with the tan grandpa interior with an automatic. Now that's another con about this thing. The autos in this aren't the greatest. They kind of shift slow, and they're just not the most durable. They're just not good quality automatic transmissions. Even though for what this thing puts out for power stock, ain't too bad. With some other stuff with the interior, the sound system in this thing with the Shaker 500 is such a good setup that it just shakes and rattles the whole interior, which is kind of crazy for a factory vehicle. This thing has a crazy sound system straight out of the factory, and that's all I'll talk about in the interior. Otherwise, it's very simple, which is what I love about it. So yeah, just a simple interior that's really nice. Now, there's plenty of negativities to the 3-valve, which is the reason why I wanted to make this video. First is the drivetrain, or the powerhouse under the hood. It's a 4.6 liter 3-valve per cylinder V8, which is a super reliable engine This thing gave us no trouble so far. It's a great engine. Now, spark plugs do like to snap in half when you take them out, so be careful with those. And also, this is one of the more reliable 3-valve engines Ford has made, and honestly there's no issues with this engine. But the problem is finding one that's in good shape, one that hasn't been hammered a lot, because these are cheap. You can pick up a 3-valve Mustang for like $5 to $8 grand, and $8 grand for a really nice one that hasn't been messed with. In a cheap price, I feel like the 3 valves are very bad reputation for the Mustang crashes. I don't know how people spin these out because they make very low power for a V8, and people blame, oh, it's a solid axle. It has nothing to do with the solid axle. The solid axle is perfectly fine. It's just morons can get a hold of these for, like I said, you can get some of these down to like $2 or $3 grand with like 200,000 miles I've seen. And so, of course, it's gonna be owned by some idiots that can afford one of these. It has nothing to do with the solid rear axle. It's just that they don't know how to handle 300 wheel torque and like 280 horsepower to the wheel, something like that. They just can't. They don't know how to handle it. Maybe they came from like a Honda Civic where the power output's completely different. I have some pretty decent tires, or these Continental Extremes, which for out here in Colorado, you kind of need something that's streetable and also something that can handle snow and wet surfaces. But these tires are perfect for the thing. It's actually fucking hard to get this thing to break loose. You kind of have to be stupid or at least force it to break loose. So I don't know how people are doing it. It must be just low IQ. But yeah, if you just want a fun daily, totally get it. Especially if you find one with like 150,000 miles with like 1 or 2 owners. You can pick one of these up for super cheap, speed on it, have fun with it, and then throw it away if you want. But they're nice highway cruisers. They're kind of relaxing to drive. They actually ride really nice. So yeah, I would get one. You know, it's not as good as the Coyote, but people say it's not as good as the Coyote, and it's like, yeah, I hope it's not as good as the Coyote because the Coyote's newer. Why would you want a worse, newer Mustang? You know, like look at the Mach-E. They made it into a soccer mom. So yeah, totally recommend getting one of these. They're super fun to drive. They sound good, and that's all I already have.